Hello, my book and wax friends. I'm Amber. If you're new, welcome. Welcome back if you are returning. I'm so glad to have you here. Today's video is a bookish video. It is a book tag, specifically a spring book tag, which was created by Rhonda Holden. I will link her channel down below. Feel free to do this tag. It was a lot of fun. So let's jump into it. The first question is April Showers, a book that made you emotional. I try to pick recent reads within the last year or so. And so for this one, I chose The Nightingale by, why did my mind just go? Kristen Hanna. My mind just went blank on to who the author is. By Kristen Hanna. She's a well-known author. She is definitely known for writing historical fiction that will break your heart. And The Nightingale is for sure one that did so to me. I was sobbing in multiple places of the book. But I do like the fact that in this story, which is about two sisters who are French living in France during World War II. So right there, you know, it's going to be a hard read. I like the fact, though, that she does weave in some hopefulness in her books, and it had a hopeful, I wouldn't say like happily ever after ending or anything like that, but it had a hopeful, ended on a positive note type of story. So I do, as someone that likes those positive type of messages in her stories, I appreciated that, even though the book wrecked me. It wrecked me a lot. So that's it for April Showers. The next is Spring Blooms, a book with beautiful writing or storytelling. How could I not choose this series? It is the Anne of Green Gables series by Ellen Montgomery. Classic series. If you have not read it, I highly recommend it. Even as an adult, these books are phenomenal. I've been fans of them. They're favorites of mine since I was a kid. And I'm doing a reread right now. I'm on book 4 or 5. I think I'm on book 4 right now. Yeah, book 4. There are 8 books in total, 6 specifically about Anne. And then the next 2 are more about the next generation, but Anne is still in those books too. So Ellen Montgomery, fantastic, beautiful, descriptive writing about life during the late 1800s, early 1900s. So highly recommend this series for sure. Okay, next prompt is Fresh Start, a book featuring a new beginning of some sort. So that one, for me, I was like, oh, there's so many ways I could go with this one. I decided to do Violet Thistlethwaite is Not a Villain Anymore. This is a cozy fantasy that explores themes of, can a person change? Or because you made bad choices in the past, is your life now set in stone? Is there redemption for you? Can you have a fresh start? So for sure, that worked perfectly for the prompt, fresh start. So that is my answer for that book prompt. The next one is Sunshine Read, a book that simply made you happy while reading it. There's so many that I could choose for this prompt. Some rereads. I try to pick books that I haven't picked and talked about a lot already. And so I went with another cozy fantasy. This one is called Cat Dragon by Samantha Birch. And this one was just such a feel-good, fun time. It is a cozy fantasy, but there is a little bit of stakes in it as well. If you like a good travel type of book, this is a good one. A quest type of story. This is a good one. And as you can tell from the cover, this is very autumnal type of story, and it was so cute, so fun. I loved it. So I do highly recommend this one, especially during the fall. So Cat Dragon by Samantha Birch. After that is New Life. I almost skipped one. New Life, a new to you author that you discovered recently and loved. That I had to go with Jessica Scarlett, and she wrote, it's going to be a trilogy, but only 2 books are out right now. The Slanted London series. Town of Shadows is the first book. Second book is Smoke in the Mirrors. Just read this book here in March. And I loved them, both of them 5 stars. If you love like Gaslamp fantasy, you know, steampunkish, magical, Victorian, historical fantasy, give these a try. If you are a fan of Cassandra Clare's Infernal Devices series, which are ones, they're along the same lines, give these books a try because they are so fun. Like I said, 5 stars, keep you guessing, great character development. I adored them. So I will continue to read books by Jessica Scarlett because she's a phenomenal writer, I think. So that is Jessica Scarlett. Then the next prompt is Spring Cleaning, a book you want to unhaul, DNF, or wish you hadn't bought. So I had a couple for this. These were cover buys for me, and I wish I hadn't bought them, but it was too late to return them. Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. I know this is a super popular one. I knew going into it that it would probably be too much content for me because I don't like a lot of profanity, and I like my books not super spicy. And this didn't have a ton of spice, but what was in it was towards the end. It was a bit more descriptive than I want to read about. And there was a ton of language. And I should have known because Devney Perry, this is her first like fantasy, romantic book, but she does write like romantic suspense. And I've heard from those stories, people that have read those stories have said that they are, can get a little spicy. So even though I did finish this because I was invested in the story, I wanted to see what happened. I regret buying it, even though it's so beautiful. It's what got me to buy it, despite not knowing and thinking that it might be too much for me. But so I do regret it now. I'm not picking up the second book, which just come out in a couple months. I won't continue the series. So I regret this one, unfortunately. And then the other one is A Forbidden Alchemy, Stacey McEwen. I've heard it's a really good story, kind of like a magical Peaky Blinders, but I ended up DNFing this one just because I started it, and within the first page or so was like a ton of F-bombs. And as I said, those aren't the type of books that I really like to read. It really takes me out of the story when you have a ton of profanity like that. It's just not what I like. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to DNF this now because it's already has that right in the first page or so. I've heard good things about it, so it does make me sad. But yeah, A Forbidden Alchemy, I regret picking that one up too. Oh, right. On to more positive ones. After the Rain, a book that started slow but became amazing by the end. For that one, I had to do, where are you? Heather Fawcett's Encyclopedia of Fairies. This is another on the cozier side of fantasy, and it does start out pretty slow. You are in Emily Wilde, who is a professor in Oxford or Cambridge or something like that. She is a professor, and she is a professor of fairy lore. So this is England, but England in a fantasy element type of England. And so there are fairies. People know about fairies. People study fairies. And she's writing an encyclopedia. She goes to this remote island in Northern Europe to try and track down these fairies for her encyclopedia to see if they are actually real, because there's been rumors about them, but people don't really know much about them and if they are really exist or not. So she goes there, and it starts from there. So it's in her it's like journal form kind of. It's from her perspective. She is a very like standoffish, analytical, grouchy type of person. And so the first little bit of the book starts out a little slow, but then you get the other main character that comes into the story. His name is Wendell. He's a rival professor. And once he gets there, the story does pick up. So I'm very, very happy that I did not DNF this, because I was thinking at the very beginning, the first quarter or so of the book, I was like, you know what, this is a little slow. I don't think I want to continue, but I was like, okay, I'm going to push on because the writing is beautiful. I love Heather Fawcett's writing and her descriptions and all that. She is a phenomenal writer. I was going to say artist, but writing's a type of art too. So I was enjoying that aspect, but it was just slow, like I said. So I do highly recommend the series. The second book definitely has a little more action, and the third book for sure has a total kind of like tone shift in it, still with same characters, but it's kind of a different atmosphere is what I will say for the final book. But loved the series, 5-star series as a whole, and I for sure am happy that I continued this one, that I did not DNF it. Okay, the next one is Clearing Skies, a book where a character overcomes something difficult. This is one that I just finished reading. You'll hear more about it in my wrap-up. And if you know, you know. Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Yeah, he definitely had to overcome something difficult at the end of the world. So I for sure had to choose this one for this prompt. I enjoyed this book, and I will talk about more in regards to my rating and everything and thoughts with the wrap up in my March wrap up. Okay, after that, let's see, Flower Bouquet, a book with an amazing cast of characters. So a newer book that I read, Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson, the whole trilogy. Found family for sure in this book. Adored it. 5-star series. Just finished the final book in Era 1 last month. And I immediately went out and purchased the trilogy because I loved the trilogy so much. Total found family in this trilogy, and I loved it. But another one that I do recommend, it's not a more recent book for me. I read them when they came out, mid 2000s, I think is when they came out. 2010, like mid 2010 time period, 2015, I don't know. But that is the Six of Crows duology, which is part of Leigh Bardugo's Grishaverse. So the Shadow and Bone trilogy is her first, and then the Six of Crows duology is the second duology in the Grishaverse. And then the King of Scars, Rule of Wolves, is the third book series in that universe, which always seems to get forgotten. So I do want to mention it because it has my all-time favorite character as the main character in that series. But if we're talking about found family, for sure the Six of Crows duology, you're getting all the found family in that, and every character I loved, some more than others, but they are the definition of found family for sure. So I had to mention them too. All right, then the last one is Long Sunny Days, a book you couldn't put down and binge read quickly. First off is Sunrise on the Reaping, which is a prequel to the Hunger Games series, and this is the prequel that's about Haymitch. If you're familiar with Hunger Games, whether just watching the movies or reading the books, Haymitch was Katniss and Peeta's mentor. So it's his story, his Hunger Games. And yeah, I could not put that one down. Another one that had me bawling. If this is another one that made me super emotional, yes, this one for sure. And then the other one that I could not put down was Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. This is her debut adult novel. And this is twisty, turny, go down the rabbit hole with Alice type of story. You don't know who to trust. You don't know what's going on for most of the book. And you're right there along with the main character, Holland. This is a book where it takes place in modern times, and she is a grad student, and she takes a class called Folklore 10 something or other, Folklore 517. And in this class, it's kind of like a mystery class. It's not really even advertised in this college down in Hollywood, LA area. And she takes the class, and it talks about all the various myths surrounding old Hollywood. And there's a mystery surrounding Holland herself and where she comes from, her parents, and all those types of things. So she's trying to find, she believes that magic is real, and she's trying to find proof to that, to try and find out what happened to her parents is pretty much what it is. And like I said, twisty, turny, mystery, keeps you on your toes the whole time. And I did really love it. I didn't give it a 5 stars. I think I gave it 4.5 stars just because besides Holland, you don't get a lot of character development with the other characters in it, which I understand because of the type of story it is. You kind of are left, you want to be left guessing and continuing on to figure out what's going on. But I didn't connect to the characters like I have in her other books, her Once Upon a Broken Heart series. But highly recommend this book. It's something that you can, it's not super long. You can read it in a day or so. And it did keep me reading. I had to binge it for sure. So that was Alchemy of Secrets. So that's it, you guys. As I said at the beginning, if you want to do this tag, for sure go do it and tag me so I know that you did do it, or leave any of those answers you want to answer down in the comments below, and so I can see what you pick. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Please like and subscribe if you want for more book and home fragrance content, because I do post about both. And until next time, TTFN. Ta-ta for now.